たちの撮影に向かいながら一緒に、避難道路に
避難して山の方に高台に上がっていく道路があるわけですね、はい、そしてこれ津波が襲ったのはだいたい揺れてから何分後ぐらいですか
？30分はかかっていないかな。
30分かかっていない、だいたい3時10分前後なんでしょうか、はいはい、この
Japan is one of the most seismically active countries in the world, a nation built with resilience and preparedness. Its buildings are engineered to withstand powerful earthquakes, and its people practice regular drills. Yet, on this day, the Earth would unleash a force that exceeded all expectations. A new scale of disaster was about to unfold. It was a calm Friday afternoon, March 11th, 2011, just before 3 p.m. People were at work, children were in school, and daily life continued as normal. The weather was clear, and there was no hint of the catastrophic event about to strike. For millions, it was a moment of peace before a moment of chaos. At 2:46 p.m., a massive magnitude 9.1 earthquake struck off the coast of Honshu, Japan's main island. The tremor was the most powerful ever recorded in the country's history. Its epicenter was located 72 kilometers east of the Tohoku region, deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. This was the Great East Japan Earthquake. The ground shook violently for 6 minutes, an eternity for those caught in its grip. Tall buildings in Tokyo swayed back and forth, and infrastructure across the country strained under the immense force. The powerful tremor served as a terrifying prelude to the main event. It was a quake that changed the geography of the seabed itself. In the immediate aftermath of the shaking, people scrambled to check on family and friends, while first responders mobilized. The initial focus was on the earthquake's damage, which, while significant, was a familiar type of disaster for the country. Many believed the worst was over, unaware of the impending catastrophe. Within minutes of the quake, Japan's meteorological agency issued a major tsunami warning for the entire Pacific coast. The warning was broadcast on television and radio, urging people to seek higher ground. However, the speed of the wave and the limitations of evacuation routes meant many had only minutes to act. The clock was ticking for coastal communities. Less than an hour after the earthquake, the first wave of the tsunami began to crash ashore. It wasn't a breaking wave, but a terrifying wall of water that submerged everything in its path. The sea itself seemed to have turned against the land. It was a sight that defied comprehension. The tsunami was not a single wave, but a series of powerful surges, reaching heights of up to 40.5 meters in some areas. It traveled at the speed of a jet plane in the open ocean, slowing but gaining height as it reached the shallow coast. The water was an unstoppable force of nature. Its scale was unprecedented. Coastal towns like Miyako and Rikuzen Takata were simply erased from the map, their buildings and streets swallowed by the sea. The sheer volume and power of the water left nothing in its wake. All that remained was a barren, muddy landscape littered with debris. Entire communities vanished in a single day. The tsunami surged miles inland, crossing fields and highways, carrying with it an immense amount of debris. It penetrated deep into the low-lying plains of the Tohoku region. The one so long in the town was the marker of the dog. No one was safe along the side of despair. The world watched in horror as live footage showed cars, fishing boats, and even entire houses being tossed around like toys. The visual chaos was a surreal and terrifying spectacle. The ocean had become a destructive river of debris, flowing through towns where streets once were. One of the most critical impacts of the disaster was the damage to the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. The plant was designed with robust defenses against earthquakes, and the initial tremor caused it to safely shut down. However, it was not prepared for what was to come next. A separate, unforeseen disaster was about to begin. The tsunami's waves breached the plant's seawall, disabling its backup generators and crucial cooling systems. With no power, the reactors began to overheat, leading to a series of meltdowns. Hydrogen explosions ripped through the facility, releasing radioactive materials into the atmosphere. The world watched in fear as the situation spiraled out of control. An exclusion zone was quickly established around the Fukushima plant, forcing tens of thousands of residents to evacuate their homes. They were not only displaced, but also faced the added trauma of potential radiation exposure. The nuclear crisis created a new kind of long-term suffering. Their lives were forever changed. In the immediate aftermath of the quake and tsunami, the humanitarian crisis was immense. Over 15,000 people were confirmed dead, with thousands more missing. Food, water, and shelter were scarce, and transportation was crippled. The disaster left millions in desperate need of help. Japan's self-defense forces, along with thousands of volunteers, mobilized for a massive rescue and recovery operation. They braved treacherous conditions to search for survivors and provide aid to isolated communities. Their tireless efforts brought hope to those who had lost everything. The nation pulled together to help one another. The world responded with an outpouring of sympathy and aid. Rescue teams and financial support came from dozens of countries. The global community united in a show of solidarity, assisting Japan in its time of need. It was a reminder that humanity can come together in the face of tragedy. For survivors, the trauma of 3/11 was profound and enduring. They grappled with the loss of loved ones, homes, and entire ways of life. The psychological wounds were as deep as the physical destruction. Many faced the daunting task of rebuilding a life from scratch while living with a constant sense of loss. In the years that followed, Japan embarked on a monumental and costly recovery effort. Cities were rebuilt, infrastructure was restored, and the difficult process of cleaning up the nuclear disaster began. The road to recovery was long and filled with challenges. The nation's resilience was put to the ultimate test. The disaster spurred Japan to reevaluate its disaster preparedness and build more resilient communities. Tsunami barriers were strengthened, and new evacuation plans were put in place. The memory of 3/11 now informs every aspect of coastal urban planning. It was a harsh lesson that led to new protections. Today, memorials stand in coastal towns as a permanent reminder of the lives lost. The ruins of some buildings have been preserved as a testament to the disaster. These sites serve to honor the victims and educate future generations about the importance of preparedness. The nation will never forget. The 2011 disaster became a defining moment for a generation of Japanese people. It showed the immense power of nature, but also the incredible strength and unity of a nation. The tragedy left an indelible mark on Japan and the world. It is a story of both unimaginable loss and unwavering resilience. The spirit of the Japanese people shone through the darkness, demonstrating remarkable dignity and grace in the face of unimaginable loss. Their quiet strength in rebuilding and remembering serves as an example to the world. It is a testament to the enduring power of hope. Subscribe for more disaster videos.